What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Ask a CISSP episode of The Other Side of the Firewall, where we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. Speaking of which, I have with me today, probably this is your third time on the podcast, third or fourth time?
Third time.
Okay, Kenneth Ellington from the Ellington Cyber Academy, so ECA. So how are you doing?
Awesome. It's been a very busy past couple of weeks, but very excited to be here.
That's awesome. So it's always great to have you on the show. Like we talked about off camera, so I've been seeing you a lot popping up. So that's also amazing, right? Like to see kind of how small our community is, but big at the same time, right? So I'm like, okay, I see you over there. I see you over there. You know, anytime I see you pop up, I like to leave a reply. I'm like, yeah, he's an awesome guest. So I kind of want to just do a brief recap of who you are and what you do, and then we can go into your current and ongoing initiatives. So, give us a top level. Who is Kenneth Ellington?
Sure thing. Name's Kenneth Ellington. I've been in IT and cybersecurity for the past around 6 years now. I've worked various roles. We've been a threat intelligence analyst, software engineer, SIEM SOAR consultant, but now I basically work for myself full time. So for some of my clients, I'm a senior threat hunter. For the rest of my stuff, we do government contracting and consulting.
That's awesome. And you didn't even blink when my son just decided to walk behind me.
Yeah, I saw that.
So those are the audio podcasts. Yeah, just little man just was like, hey, I'm ready to go back up to my room. So I've changed venues, right? So you see me record in my garage, in my laundry room, and now I have kind of an office setup. So it's an evolution, but I get no respect. That's basically what you just saw. But no, so that's a great introduction to who you are and what you do. So with that being said, the Academy. So I've seen it flourish. I've been seeing it grow, right? We talked about your background in the past, how, you started out at Publix here in good old Florida. And then, you worked your way up, you found opportunity, and now you're, self-made man, right? Entrepreneur. What ongoing initiatives would you like to speak about? And then just a taste of the future, and then we'll go with a conversation from there.
Sure thing. So we're in the process of bidding for some 7-figure government contracts, state and local, this month actually. So I joined Fox Wade's government contracting program to really help out with the process and speed everything up. So he's been a really big help with that. So we're actively in the process of bidding for some contracts for that. So praying we get some of those contracts, so I can actually staff some of my former current students on them, so they get some good paying jobs is the main goal for it. That's been a really big initiative we've been trying to push out for this quarter. So next quarter, we're going to really try to push it, sign some contracts. Ambitious goal to do $2 million worth of contract or get $2 million signed by end of next year. So we'll see if we can make it happen.
That's a great goal. So to get people up to speed, so the government contracts that you're working on. So when we talked in the past, like you're my SIEM SOAR guru, right? You're the person I talk to when I have those type of questions, or when I want to introduce a topic on the show and things of that nature. So what is the secret sauce for ECA and bidding on contracts? Like, what makes you top notch?
So I'd probably say it's our attention to detail. We are a minority owned and hub zone certified. So I've tried to promote minorities and people of color to try to get them contracts and opportunities inside of our firm. That's a really big thing we try to do. It's nothing like overly fancy or complicated. It's just we do our work very well. We take care of our clients and we make sure that they're happy. To try to keep it simple as possible. I think details matter, and I think that's lost in today's society.
Absolutely. So that's a big theme within my, I'm biased. I'm an Air Force veteran guy, but like attention to detail is something they preach to us from boot camp on, right? Like that's highly sought after, as well as it affects your ratings and your performance, right? If you don't have that attention to detail, because you don't want planes fall out of the sky, basically is how they preach to us. If you're not paying attention to detail, people could die, right? So it's good to see kind of that mantra instilled within your company, especially when it comes to the DIB, right? Defense and industrial base. Like, honestly, a lot of what we do within the government sector ultimately leads to people and processes and things of that nature, which can be harmful if that attention to detail is not followed. So you having that baked in is amazing. So it's not advertisement for you, right? I'm getting kickbacks, but it just that piqued my interest, right? Like you saying that and that detail. So it sounds like you have an amazing pipeline, right? Like, so you start out with education and training, and now you have people who are out there in the field who you can call back. You know, you have your students and what have you to then staff these positions as they become available. So was that always part of the plan, or did it kind of evolve into that?
It kind of evolved inside of that. Was probably last year Christmas. I was talking to my family, my brothers. My dad's a government contractor, and my brother owns his own company. And so he kind of posed the idea towards me to kind of utilize that. I thought it was a great idea, so we tried to implement it. So I've been able to place some of my students on some smaller contracts that we've been working over this past summer and fall. So it's like a really cool opportunity to get to kind of train them, mentor them, lead them, and then have them work for me and get them paid as much as possible.
Right. No,
Yeah.
that's brilliant, right? So it's basically a Venn diagram of self-actualization, right? Somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, I want your education and your training," and then ultimately, if things work themselves out, that person they feel accomplished, right? Like they have the training, they have the technical prowess, and then you're able to put them on payroll, and then it goes into sustained superior performance and things of that nature as well, right? Because you yourself and your company, you want to make sure you have those metrics, so that way you can continue to acquire contracts and grow from there. So no, that's great model. So I say all this to say, like, I want to duplicate this, like, in the future, right? I definitely want to kind of follow in your footsteps, and I'm learning from you, like just like a Darich Phillips or anyone else that I've had on the show, who are doing big things within the sector. Darren King, Yvette Rivera, like the list goes on and on and on, right? So have you been able to do any collaborations with like-minded content creators or people within the field? Because it's a big contracting world, but it's very small, right? You run into a lot of the same people who that if they're doing well anyway.
For Derek, we have, which is thanks to you.
Okay,
Yeah, we're able to help him out with some of his CMC stuff
that's awesome.
for compliance. That was all thanks to you. Literally just sent him an email, gave me his information. So kind
Okay,
of got started from there. Yeah, it's not that complex. It's just hard to consistently be consistent and reach out towards people. But the better off you're able to do that, the more opportunities you will get. Like general life advice, if there's not any risk in something, there probably isn't too much benefit in it, honestly. So the more you're willing to look stupid in public, the greater opportunities you get in personal and professional life.
That's really good advice, actually, and especially when it comes to people and growth, right? Like, a lot of things do make you feel kind of uncomfortable. You're like, I'm not sure if I want to do this or not. But I mean, you're a prime example, like reaching out to people, making those connections, and your business is growing and flourishing. Like, for your goal for, you said the end of 2025 is $2 million in contracts. So like, you've probably sat down and done the analysis and found it to be feasible. But someone who has not started out, right, who's listening to the podcast, probably like, man, $2 million is crazy. That's crazy money, right?
That's definitely doable.
Yeah. So that's awesome that because you look like unflinched, right? Like, you're like, yeah, this is definitely it's definitely possible. I can definitely make this happen. And you've put it out on wax, basically. Like, this is recorded on the internet forever. So for all I know, when we talk next year, hopefully sooner rather than later, you're like, yeah, I already hit that goal. Or yeah, we're gonna do double those figures. I'm like, man, you're killing it. Like, I need a job. No, but that's awesome. So what about other initiatives, right? So you have the academy, you're doing the training, you have an amazing pipeline of students. You're now going through the process of acquiring contracts, and then hopefully staffing and putting those students and others, on payroll. What else? Like, because when I talk to entrepreneurs, there's always something else, right? Like, they have several irons in the fire, but here's the next one that's queued up. Like, do you have anything that you can share with us right now, or any initiatives you're thinking about potentially starting?
Yeah, so next up will basically be, I'll say small, medium-sized business consulting for cybersecurity.
Okay.
So it's kind of goes hand in government contracting per se for how the structure might be set up. But starting like Q1, we're really going to hit that pretty hardly to try to actually market in the local DFW area. So that's one of the next steps we're going to do.
No, that's really thought provoking, right? Especially in that area, right? The North Capital Region area, the DFW area, like that's like the mecca, right? It's where everybody comes to put these things together. So are you comfortable with the in-person meeting and the, shaking hands and, what do they call it, gripping and grinning and things of that nature? Like, has that always been something you're cool with?
God,
Or
no,
yeah,
no.
I was gonna say, like, for me, it's like I just went to a in-person thing today, and I was like, man, like I enjoy meeting people. I definitely enjoy collaborating, but it's a lot of people and space and movement. So how do you feel about that?
I'm a very naturally introverted person, so it takes a lot out of me to do it. But I have ultimate goals at the end of the day I want to achieve, and I'll do whatever I have to take to reach those goals. So if that means sucking up and doing something that I'm not always comfortable with, I will do it to reach my goals. That's just the way I see it, right? I do what I have to do to get towards what I want to do. And when I unlock that kind of mental note, and made things a lot easier. Um, so it's just kind of a part of the process. Sometimes it's kind of awkward. I'm probably a pretty awkward person. But I still do it because it helps drive business and growth for people around me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So so I feel you on a lot of those points, right? Like growth is uncomfortable, and especially when you're an entrepreneur, like business is business. So like you have to sometimes, you know, uh, grow in areas which you normally wouldn't feel comfortable in, and especially when it comes to business, because even though the pandemic, like it allows us to do a lot more virtual collaboration and things of that nature, which I appreciate, especially the working from home. You still have to meet people, right? Like people still have to get a sense of your personality. They still have to meet you in person. Like it's still really a big component to business. So it's good to hear you say that, even if you don't feel comfortable doing, especially for those would be entrepreneurs who are listening, you got to make it happen, right? You got to have that mentality. Like I'll do whatever's necessary in order to establish my business and then grow from there. But yeah, no, it really is awesome to see your growth and how big your business is becoming. So what about 5 years from now? Where do you see ECA?
But for 5 years, I plan to have like multiple government contracts, right? Probably something in $10 to $15 million in annual revenue, basically being brought in for the business. Having like a full staff basically, so I'll have actual full-time people that work for me, and I handle a lot of the day-to-day expertise of running a business from like a business aspect. And then at that point, sadly, I probably will stop being really technical and I'll have to be like a project manager because I'm the business owner. That's kind
Right.
of that's how the way it goes. But I'll have other technical people that take care of a lot of the contracts for me. That's what my
No,
goal is.
yeah, I definitely feel you on that one. You become less of a technician of equipment and more of a problem solver for people, right? Like it's you doing the business development, again, doing that, the gripping and grinning and all those things, but also interpersonal, right? Like ultimately, whenever you build teams, people have issues, whether it be with them achieving their goals or feeling like someone is their roadblock, right? So at least ahead of time. A lot of people are shocked by that. They're like, oh, I still want to, hit the keys on the keyboard, but I'm over here working with, you know, personnel issues, right? Like
Yeah,
people having issues, but that's what
it's a
business
part.
is.
Yeah.
So no, that's good that you already have that mindset going into it. So growth, right? So you've steadily grown with your business. How do you? Because all growth isn't great growth, right? Like we talk about like potentially growing too quickly. Like cancer is bad growth, right? Like it's something that's growing irregular or unnaturally, but you're sustained, perpetual, healthy growth. Like how does that work, right? How is that designed, or what is your philosophy in order to make sure like your growth is again sustainable as well as healthy for the company?
I would say probably biggest thing in my coach, Blunt, my business coach, Lunch Bennett, it's been really beneficial for me in that regard. It's like having understandings of what your actual desired rich life is going to be like and what you want to do, right? Because for me, I don't want to run a company the size of Google. That isn't my goal, right? I don't want to do that.
Right.
If a company ever gets that big, I'll probably sell it to somebody else and they can handle that headache. So for me, I have a decent idea how big I want my company to be, how many people I want to have staff with me, and what I want us to do, right? And like, what are their mission goals, right? So always know what you're striving for, what you're aiming for, and make sure it aligns with your personal goals and values, right? Again, my goal is not to be McDonald's. I don't want to have cheap, quick, and fast stuff. That's why we cap our classes out at 20 people. We always want to keep the quality the same. So that may mean we might have to raise prices to turn people away. But I'm perfectly happy with that because I want to keep the quality so high quality, right? So that's just a part of what we like to do. So I'm perfectly happy with how the business is running currently.
No, that's great. So when it comes to staffing, because I see a lot of people, they kind of ride the razor's edge, right? They don't necessarily want to bring in someone from C-suite or someone who is a large expense early on, because obviously you want to grow, you want to make sure you have operating capital and things of that nature. And this is just me. I've been going through a lot of boot camps recently, so please forgive me. This is a baby entrepreneur over here. What key components do you feel you need at the jump from the start? Like obviously you're president, CEO, founder, things of that nature. What is a good position that complements you early on to help you grow the business and do what you do?
For me, it took me that wrong. I realized like there's a lot of stuff that I don't want to do in my business. Right, like I hate taxes and accounting, so I paid someone to do that. I
There
have
you
no
go.
interest whatsoever in doing that. That's not my expertise. A lot of because we have our first international student that actually signed up like last week, Stanley. He's in Germany and we had to pay German taxes now. I have no idea how the hell to do that whatsoever.
So
So I
VAT,
can't.
yeah, the VAT and all that other crazy stuff.
Yeah, so I told my accountant, I'm like, hey, where do I sign up and pay? Because I don't know how to do it. But stuff like that, right? The marketing, I'm not a marketer, right? I can't draw a design, I can't draw a circle on a piece of paper. So I have Grace, who's our advisor, handle a lot of that stuff. But stuff like that, I just realizing you can't do everything, and you shouldn't do
Right.
everything, right? That's not your job as a business owner. Your job is to delegate tasks and work on things only you can do, right? So for now, that looks like basically a lot of the engineering architecture stuff. I'm the most senior level person at the firm in that regard, right? So I handle a lot of that training aspect, right? And it's in the business development piece. If people want to meet directly with me for some odd reason, I guess because I'm the owner, right? And so I normally handle our discover calls for now. Eventually, once we get bigger, I'll probably have to hire a salesperson to manage that. But for now, I'm in charge of it because I'm the best person at it because this is my company. So I know like
Right.
what my clients need and want before they sign up.
No, it's good that you have that vision, especially when it comes to delegation. A lot of people have issues with delegation, right? Because you don't want to do everything, but then you're like, oh man, I'm not articulating this well, or they're not receiving it well, so I just do it, right? Thanos reaching for the glove, like I'll do it myself. But no, it's good that you have that bit like, hey, I don't want to do that. Like I don't want to be these people. I want to do what's best for the company, and as well as what my strong point, right? Because you do have the vision. It is your company. You do know your clients better than anybody else. So no, that's great. Yeah, because a lot of people just can't handle that portion of it. I have to do everything if I want to be successful. So with all that being said, right? So last time we talked to you about kind of what you do to unwind and things of that nature. When you do have the time, you have to have less time than ever before, or the opposite for all I know. But is it still culinary? Is that still your passion?
Working out, doing kickboxing, Muay Thai stuff.
Yeah, I forgot about kickboxing. Yeah.
My coach got mad because I didn't go yesterday. And I was like, yeah, I'm trying to pay for these contracts. That's why. So I wasn't able to make it. But I'll be there probably Thursday and Saturday. But she doesn't care because those aren't the days she teaches. She don't care about the days she teaches. When I'm not there, she gets upset. So
Gotcha.
shout out to Melissa.
Okay.
You know, she got scared of me sometimes.
So you cooking food and kicking people in the face. All right.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. Another thing, probably the next 5 years, business does as well as I envision it to, I'll probably go back to culinary school.
Okay.
just so I can actually perfect my craft. That's another thing I've been thinking about a lot lately. Uh, so yeah, that's something I'll probably do. Oh, then another side note, we should reach it by probably end of this week, but we'll officially hit $100,000 in sales for this year,
Okay.
probably by end of this week.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you, thank you.
Yeah. So you're already ramping up as we speak. So yeah, like you obviously have a decent work-life balance, right? Like no one's perfect work-life balance, at least to my knowledge, right? But it seems as though you understand that you have to take time for yourself to relax, it's funny because Levon, one of our original hosts, he's also into MMA, right? So he's like probably like between journeyman and pro would be where he's at, right? Like the nicest guy ever, but he's fierce in the ring. So does that translate to business acumen as well? Like, does that make you a better businessman because you understand how to channel that aggression and to, use it in positive ways, or does it have nothing to do with business whatsoever?
It helps. So like a confidence standpoint, right? Uh, it definitely helps, especially when you spar, right? You're actually
Okay.
facing another human being. I think it's a really big confidence booster for me. It's just be able to know I can handle myself in any situation. I think that's been a really big, that's probably my biggest happy part, for lack of a better term, for being in like Muay Thai and kickboxing. So just like the confidence builder and me knowing that I can defend myself. And if I can do that, you hit in the face and still get back up, right? Or get swept, which I got swept like last month, and still get back up. That's like a really cool aspect of it that I like a lot. To just know that, hey, you got this. Even if you fail or fall down, just keep doing it over and over again, and you'll be successful.
Yeah, that's great. Like you have a lot of very mature thought processes when it comes to both business and just life in general,
I
right?
don't know if you told me this. I don't know why.
Like you're wise beyond your years is what I'm picking up from the various interviews we've had with each other. Is that kind of old soul? Is that coming from the parents? Like what kind of put imbued a lot of this knowledge into you?
I don't know. Everyone keeps telling me this. Like I thought like an old man. I think it was a compliment.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like definitely compliment.
For me, I'm probably my upbringing, my parents, and then me just kind of like watching how everyone does what they do. Just the benefit of being like an introvert, I kind of like stand back and observe everything before I ever make my own move. And then just like learning at, I guess, young age when I was in college, like knowing like what the things I truly wanted to do, and then figuring out I was blessed. Like I picked a field that I get paid very well to do, and it's very interesting, right? And once I got to this field, I realized like how much it could benefit my life and people around me. And so from there, I just kind of want to become the best as I could at it.
No, that's phenomenal, especially having that type of upbringing to instill that within you, right? So one more technical question before we pivot to some lighter topics. So I heard this in passing. I was walking through a conference and what have you, and this person was selling their wares and things of that nature, but they're trying to tell the person they were speaking to that Simmons Soar is dead. They're like, Simmons Soar is not the future. X or Y is the future. And then immediately you popped to my head. I was like, I have to ask this question to Kenneth next time we talk to each other because, like, no, I don't even want to put my bias into it. I want to get your opinion. Like, if someone were to say that to you, Simmons Soar is dead. We're now on whatever platform. Like, is that how the field should be thinking? And if so, what platform is that? Or is that not the way the field should be thinking? And, this is what Simmons Soar is doing in the future.
So they've been saying this since I've been like in college, and I'm still waiting for it to happen. So their platforms are going to naturally evolve like anything in life or in the world, right? So as they evolve, they're going to change, but there's still going to be a sim and it's still going to be a SOAR platform, right? Because like think about like what is a sim platform doing? Like what's the SOAR platform do, right? Sim platform basically aggregates data for security purposes, right? And allows you to monitor threats and detect them, right? In real time. What's a SOAR platform do? A SOAR platform does security orchestration, automation, and response. What does that mean in English? Basically means it organizes basically your incident response process, so you're able to basically view everything from a single pane of glass. It allows your incident responders to basically pivot and view different tool sets from a singular platform. So if you use XOR and you have SentinelOne and CrowdStrike, you have Zscaler, you can basically use API calls to basically pull those certain actions so they're able to run certain actions against your environment, right? So those are all beneficial things, right? Now they're probably saying that because I'm more like, it was probably a vendor conference, wasn't it? And then with this other stuff.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I'm
it's
guessing
absolutely a vendor conference. Yes.
that's how it always happens. The reason they're saying that because they probably with this other stuff, right? Second, most firms when they buy stuff, they don't understand how to actually implement it or utilize it, right? So that's why they may think that, right? I see firms that are not security mature enough, they're like a level 1, and you need to be like a level 4. If you use like this one security maturity model, take level 1 to level 4, right? Level 4 is like high automation, right? Threat hunting, threat intelligence, stuff like that. Level 1 is like a mom and pop shop, for example, something like that, right? I'll see firms that are like at level 1, they'll try to use a SOAR platform. And they're like, well, this isn't working. I'm like, yeah, because I'm like, you bought a brand new pool for your house and you don't have any walls or roof, right? Like, what are you doing? So, like, understand like what their firm can do, what level they are at, and then try to plan from there.
No, it's a great synopsis, right? Like I should have said that, but it's not. I couldn't articulate I just put it down, right? I'm not a SME within that within because I don't want to say field because we're all within the same field, but in that sector, right? That's just not my bread and butter. Such as a person like yourself who's such a matter expert of it. So all right, pivot. We've talked about your background, your upbringing, and why you are so mature and wise beyond your years, right? Your business and its growth, right? Like soon to be an 8 figure establishment in the very near future. What are you doing outside of that? So when it comes to non-work related, right? So like obviously you're still working out, kickboxing, kick people in the face. You want to pursue your culinary dreams. So people shouldn't be this talented. This makes me upset when people have multiple paradigms they can just shift into. Like, nah, be like me. Folks, you get one thing. That's it. But with that being said, like, is it movies? Is it books? Like, do you have any recommendations? What have you been getting into?
Probably anime.
Okay.
So there's one that I saw. This was back in July because I talked to my family about it. It's on Netflix. It's called Scissor 7,
Okay.
and it's a Chinese anime. So the styling and tone of it is different. It's really good. It's like really goofy, but that's a serious component towards it. And it's
Okay.
really good. The action is actually really good. So it's really, really cool.
I gotta check it out.
Yeah, think of it like kind of like samurai means like Shangri-La in China. So it's like really, really cool. And you have like
Okay.
these modern like Android people. They're called the stands. It's really funny, but it's really good. That and then Blue Lock season 2 just started. It's funny. I hate soccer. I think it's very boring. I'm not a soccer fan whatsoever. Watching Blue Lock makes me want to like go out and play on the field. That's how good it
Gotcha.
is. They like hype up the moments so much. And I think in my mind, I'm like, y'all, I'm like, you're playing soccer. Calm down. But they do such a good job of like hyping up the moment. Like, I need to hit this goal. Like, Inzaghi, you can't do that. He's like, watch me go inside the mode. His eye turn green, he slows down. It's really cool.
Okay.
Um,
I'm definitely gonna have to check that one out. I've been watching. I think it's pronounced Dun Dun Dun. Like,
oh
yeah, I've been watching
yeah.
that one.
That at the first episode, I'm like, what the hell is this?
Right. It's
Weird,
very
weird.
very strange, but
Yeah, it's
it
good though.
reminds
I
me.
like it.
Yeah, it is pretty good. It reminds me of Ghost Stories, but better dubbed. Like I don't know if you ever saw the old anime called Ghost Stories, but uh,
So,
it's it's not worth your time. But it's meme generating material. Basically, it came over to the States without a budget, and they're like, do what you want in this dub. Just don't change the name of the spirits because it's like ghosts and stuff in it. There's like, because that's part of our heritage. But anything else, you have carte blanche, and it's terribly dubbed on purpose, and it's hilarious. Like you can tell that's not what the character said, but it's very funny. But it's the same theme, right? They talk about aliens and ghosts and things of that nature, just like da 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 is pretty much that. So I've been watching that, and then playing Sparking Zero, right? So it's pretty much like playing an anime. Like it's gorgeous. I don't know if you're into Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Fighters, but I picked it up and it is beautiful. Like I'm getting my butt kicked right and left, right? Like it's just I'm not good at fighters, but the animation is off the chain. So I'd highly recommend it to anybody who's into animes. One of the prettiest anime fighters I've ever seen. So
Nice, nice. Um, those are two main things. I'm almost caught up on Boruto. I did skip like 70 episodes because it was filler. So after they fought Ishigi, the guy that can shrink stuff and then expand it, because he used to be J-Gun. So after that arc's finished, I skip like 70 episodes. So they're like talking about nonsense stuff I didn't care about. So I'm back on the good stuff again.
and do it. Like I think we talked about this, or at least I've talked about it in the
For One
past.
Piece,
Like,
right?
yeah, I like, yeah, just go ahead and skip with 500 episodes. I'm like, no, man, I can't do it. Like that and Bleach. I'm like, no, it's too many episodes.
Yeah, dude, yeah. So there wasn't that much filler, and then I hit like a huge filler part. So I'm on episodes like probably I want to say 210. That was when the main story ended, and then the filler started for like another 60 episode or something.
That's crazy. But I heard good things about it. But yeah, it's like because
Yeah.
my son is almost caught up on One Piece. I'm just like, yo, I
It's like
need
2,000 episodes or something
I
crazy
need
like that. I can't
yeah.
do that, man.
How are you doing that? And why? Why are you doing that to yourself? He's like, no, it's real good now. And he tried to put me on to, I think it's Bleach, like Thousand Year War or something like
Yeah,
that.
that's
So I watched 2 episodes. I was like, this animation is God tier, but I don't have time for it, unfortunately. But I was like, this looks great.
it's amazing. It's really good.
But aside from that, yeah, playing a few games here and there, and I need to get back into the gym. Like you're talking about kick people in the face. Like your stamina's probably outrageous, right? Like I have not worked out in weeks, months. I am in desperate need of some cardio in my life. So no matter what happens by the end of this week, I'm back on the treadmill, working on getting my VO2 max back up. So I definitely need to work on that. But do you have any other passions that we haven't discussed before?
No, I'm a pretty boring person.
So kicking people in the face and making food, that's not boring?
I mean, it's literally just I either work, I'm relaxing, or I'm by
Okay.
working out for the most part.
That's
I'm
what's
going to
up.
watch anime. That's about it.
Do you have any vacation plans in the near future?
Actually, I got back from DMV area
Okay.
a week and a half ago, which is beautiful. Weather was perfect. It's like mid-October.
Yeah.
Leaves were changing color. Food was great. Hotel was very expensive. I will not lie. But
Gotcha.
I was like I was in Old Town Alexandria, so I was like right in the water.
Okay.
So it was really nice. Hotel was really, really good. Food is awesome. The only expensive part was a hotel. Everything else was pretty cheap. And everything was within like walking distance. So I didn't really need a rental car, even though I got one. Next time I won't get one. I'll just
Yeah,
Uber.
their public transit is on point. One of the few, right, aside of like your New Yorks and things of that nature. But speaking of food, there, you reminded me. So I went to see a John Legend concert with my wife. I think he was playing at, man, like the Constitution Hall or something like that. I can't remember what the name of the venue was, but a little small, intimate venue or what have you. But before the concert, we decided to go. There's a Chinese spot. Like we saw a Chinese restaurant on the corner. We're like, well, we don't want to sit down and eat and then potentially be behind the ball and have to rush to the venue. So I walk in there, right? And, I walk in there and the people were behind bulletproof glass, right? And they have a turnstile in the middle. I was like, oh man, this feels like home. Like it feels like I'm back in New York. Like, so I ordered some food from there. It was the best Chinese I ever had in my life. I have never had Chinese food that good. It was in DC. It was the best Chinese food I've ever had in my life. It was dirt cheap, but yeah, behind bulletproof glass.
It's crazy.
I was like, well, you gotta do what you gotta do. For food this good, it deserves protection. But yeah, it blew my mind. It was delicious. But yeah, I couldn't like so yeah, we had to use their public transit to get back to the hotel because I could not get a cab. Save my life. It was before Uber blew up,
Oh, okay.
and could not get a cab. Like they were zooming past, picking up people, but there were so many people leaving the hall, it just wasn't enough cabs. So it's just like, man, we're stranded. But yeah, I love the area, walking around, seeing the monuments and what have you. I plan on going back one day, but it's been years since we traveled up there. So it's good to hear that, still cool. The weather's still nice.
Yeah,
We went,
beautiful. Yeah.
yeah, it
I
was
fact,
winter time, I want to say, when we went, but it wasn't too cold.
I went, I was like mid 70s and like mid 50s for most of the nights. And I just walked around everywhere. I didn't really need. Yeah, everything was within like a mile walk. The
Right.
store, pharmacy, all the restaurants. So I just went to try different restaurants every day. It's really cool.
What's up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely have to go back up there. But no, it was great catching up with you. And like I said, you have to meet up sooner rather than later, because every time we check in, like you're doing amazing things, right? Like you're continuously growing. The ECA Academy is doing amazing things, and I can't wait for you to let us know when you hit your goal, and then you're on to the next. I'm like, so what's the next goal, right? And then when you're on Jeff Bezos status, I'm gonna need you to donate to the church of the other side of the Firewall Tabernacle. We have a building fund.
I won't ever become evil Lex Luthor. So don't
Yeah.
worry.
Yeah, pretty much. I would consider him to be that as well. But hey, he did the thing, right? Like Amazon gives me my packages. I ordered something this morning. It was here by lunch. It was like, there must be a center somewhere nearby. I was like, that is ridiculous. Yes, Amazon, keep taking my money, but no, thank you for checking in with us. Thank you for your time. I know you're a busy person. Where can people find you if they're trying to either reach you or reach your content or give you their money for services, contracts, things of that nature?
Either on LinkedIn, either a business page at Ellington Cyber Academy, or just search me on LinkedIn at Kenneth Ellington, and you'll find me.
There it is. And you can find us by all of our social medias. It's either the other side of the firewall, the other side of the FW, or Ask a CISSP. You can find me personally. I'm at RY Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy. I'm on pretty much every social media platform, but specifically LinkedIn is where you can reach me. And then you can hit up the parent company of the podcast, right? So ramcyber.io. Hit that up, and that's where you can find nothing right now. So like you, I'm like, I don't want to be a webmaster. So I have a landing page, and now I'm looking for somebody to do something with it because I don't want to do that. So hit us up by all the above. And then obviously continue to tune in Monday, Tuesday, our topics, Wednesday discussion, Thursdays, just like this one is Ask a CISSP. And then Fridays, everything else, movies, books, games, all that good stuff. Stay safe, stay secure.